Hey, welcome back to the This Old Baker podcast. I'm Kim, and today we are talking about something that is quietly draining your bank account every single morning. And you might not even be thinking about it as a budget issue because it feels like such a small thing each time it happens. It's coffee, specifically the coffee shop habit, the $6 latte, the $7 iced caramel macchiato, the $5 cold brew with a pump of hazelnut syrup and a splash of oat milk. All of which, if you're doing it 5 days a week, adds up to between $100 and $150 a month on a beverage that you could make at home for maybe $15. I'm not here to make anyone feel bad about their coffee. I drink coffee. I love coffee. I am pro-coffee in every format. But the coffee shop is living rent-free in your wallet, and today we're evicting it, or at least reducing the lease. We're covering homemade simple syrups, cold brew concentrate, building a coffee bar at home that actually makes you want to stay in, and how to replicate basically every coffee shop drink you're currently paying full price for. Let's go. Let's do the math real quick, because I think when you actually look at the numbers, you have a moment. Like, I've been doing what? The average specialty coffee drink, your lattes, your cold brews, your flavored iced coffees, runs between $5 and $7. Let's call it $6. If you're doing that every weekday, that's $30 a week, $120 a month, $1,440 a year on coffee. Now let's look at what that same drink costs at home. A bag of good whole bean coffee, enough for a month of cold brew, runs about $12 to $15. A batch of homemade hazelnut simple syrup costs about $2 in ingredients and makes 20 servings. Oat milk is maybe $1 a serving. We're talking 40 to 60 cents a drink versus $6. The difference is not small. It's not even a rounding error. It's the kind of money that pays for a utility bill or a grocery run or a chunk of something you actually need. And the reason most people don't make the switch isn't money motivation. It's convenience, or the perception of convenience. Because the coffee shop feels easy. You pull up, you order, it's ready. But here's the thing. Once you set up your home coffee situation properly, making a latte at home is genuinely faster than driving to get one. We'll get into that. The foundation of a good home coffee setup is cold brew concentrate. And I want to demystify this because people make it sound complicated. And it is genuinely one of the easiest things you can make. Cold brew concentrate is coarse ground coffee steeped in cold water for 12 to 24 hours. That's the recipe. You don't heat anything. You don't watch anything. You grind coffee, you put it in water, you put it in the refrigerator, and you go to bed. In the morning you strain it, and you have a week's worth of concentrate sitting in a jar in your fridge. The concentrate part matters. You're making it strong so that when you pour it over ice with milk or water, it dilutes to the right strength without tasting watery. A lot of homemade iced coffee fails because people use regular brewed coffee over ice, and it just tastes like diluted coffee. Cold brew concentrate doesn't have that problem. My ratio: 1 cup of coarse ground coffee to 4 cups of cold water. Steep 12 to 24 hours. Strain through a coffee filter or cheesecloth. What you end up with keeps in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. To serve, pour about half a cup of concentrate over a full glass of ice filled with cold water or milk. Add whatever syrup you want. That's your iced coffee. It takes 90 seconds, and it tastes better than most drive-through cold brews because you control the coffee quality and the flavor additions. Here's where the real coffee shop magic lives. And it's the piece most people are missing when they try to recreate their favorite drinks at home. The syrups. When you order a hazelnut latte or a vanilla cold brew or a caramel iced coffee, what you're mostly tasting is the syrup. The coffee is the base. The syrup is the flavor. And those syrups are the easiest thing to make at home, and the most expensive thing to keep buying in individual drinks. I currently have 7 syrups in my refrigerator: vanilla, chocolate, raspberry, peach, hazelnut, toffee, and caramel. Each one cost me between $1 and $3 to make, and each one lasts 2 weeks to a month. That's the entire coffee shop flavor menu sitting in my fridge at a fraction of the per drink cost. The basic ones are genuinely simple. Vanilla is literally sugar, water, and vanilla extract. Equal parts sugar and water. Simmer until the sugar dissolves. Cool slightly. Stir in the vanilla off heat so you don't cook off the fragrance. Done. That's it. 1 tablespoon in your coffee and you have a vanilla latte. Hazelnut is the same base with hazelnut extract and a little vanilla to round it out. Chocolate syrup is cocoa powder, whisked into the simple syrup base. 1 tablespoon in cold brew and you have a mocha. Toffee syrup is brown sugar and butter cooked together, which sounds more complicated than it is, and produces something that tastes like a $7 toffee latte for about 15 cents. The fruit ones, raspberry and peach, are made with actual fruit, which is why they taste like fruit instead of fruit flavoring. Frozen raspberries or fresh peaches cooked down with sugar and water and strained. The color alone makes them worth making. Deep red raspberry syrup in an iced coffee is beautiful, and it tastes like someone put real effort into your drink. All of these recipes are on the blog. I'll link them in the show notes. Start with vanilla if you're new to this. Make 1 batch, put it in a labeled jar with a pump lid, and I promise you will never pay for vanilla syrup again. Now let's talk about the setup. Because the reason the coffee shop feels easier than home isn't just convenience, it's environment. The coffee shop is designed to make coffee feel like a treat. The aesthetics, the experience of ordering, the cup in your hand, it's all doing psychological work. You can replicate that at home, and when you do, something shifts. Your kitchen counter becomes a place you want to be in the morning, instead of something you rush past. And that shift in feeling changes the habit. Here's what a solid home coffee bar actually needs. And none of this is expensive. A dedicated space, even just a corner of the counter. Not wherever you shove the coffee maker, but an intentional spot that has everything in one place. Your cold brew jar in the fridge, labeled, always stocked. When you finish a batch, start the next one immediately. The 5-minute effort to start a new steep the same day you finish the last one is the habit that keeps you out of the drive-thru on Tuesday morning when you're tired and the concentrate is empty. Your syrups in labeled half-pint mason jars with pump lids. The pump lid is not optional. It's what makes it actually feel like a coffee shop experience rather than fishing around with a spoon. 1 pump, done. A handheld frother, if you want lattes or cold foam at home. They run between $8 and $15, and they change your coffee life. 30 seconds of frothing milk or cream produces a latte-quality foam that you cannot replicate by shaking or stirring. It's the single piece of equipment that most closes the gap between home coffee and coffee shop coffee. Your favorite mug or glass. This sounds small, but it matters. If you're drinking your home coffee out of a sad mug that you hate, you're subconsciously undermining the experience before you take the first sip. Use the good glass. Make it look like something you chose. Let me walk you through a few specific drinks so this doesn't stay abstract. Vanilla sweet cream. Cold brew. Half a cup cold brew concentrate over ice, fill with cold water, top with vanilla sweet cream cold foam. The foam is 2 tablespoons heavy cream, 1 tablespoon milk, half a teaspoon vanilla syrup frothed for 15 seconds with a handheld frother. Pour it over the back of a spoon so it floats. That drink costs about 50 cents at home. It costs $6.25 at Starbucks. It tastes identical. Hazelnut latte. Pull 2 shots of espresso or use 2 ounces of cold brew concentrate. Add 1 tablespoon hazelnut syrup. Pour over ice. Top with oat milk. 30 seconds. Done. Dirty Dr. Pepper. Yes, we're going here. Dr. Pepper over ice, half a teaspoon of vanilla syrup stirred in, topped with vanilla sweet cream cold foam. This is the McDonald's crafted beverage, launched in May 2026. And it is genuinely good. Homemade version, 40 cents. McDonald's version, $4 plus. I'm just saying. Raspberry iced coffee. Cold brew concentrate over ice. 1 tablespoon raspberry simple syrup. Splash of cream. The raspberry syrup turns the drink a pale pink and tastes like actual raspberries because it's made from actual raspberries. Nobody at a coffee shop is doing that for you. Mocha latte. Cold brew over ice. 1 tablespoon chocolate syrup. 1 tablespoon vanilla syrup. Fill with oat milk. That's the whole mocha. The chocolate and vanilla together is what produces the specific mocha flavor. Neither one alone gets you there. Here's where I want to land this. The coffee shop is not the enemy. A good coffee shop is a pleasure, and sometimes you should absolutely go and sit in one and enjoy yourself. But the daily habit, the autopilot pull into the drive-thru because you haven't set up anything different. That's what's costing you. When you make 1 batch of cold brew and put it in the fridge, when you spend 20 minutes on a Sunday making 2 or 3 syrups and lining them up with their pump lids on your counter, when you have your good glass ready and your frother plugged in, the equation changes. Home becomes easier than the drive-thru. And the drink is better because you made it. All of the recipes we talked about today, the cold brew concentrate, all 7 simple syrups, the vanilla sweet cream cold foam, are linked in the show notes. Start with one thing: the vanilla syrup, the cold brew. Whichever one feels most useful to you right now, make it once. See how it changes your morning. Thanks for being here. Find me at This Old Baker on Facebook and Instagram, and at thisoldbaker.com for everything we talked about today. I'll see you next time.